This video is brought to you by the lovely sponsors below. Thank you so much for your support.
It is regrettable that it has come to this, but I must protect this world. If you had chosen to make this place your home and swore your lives to me, then I as a god, a queen, and a mother would have accepted and granted you my love. However, for the sake of your world, that would never have been possible, correct?
Sorry, Queenie. This place is one that cannot continue to exist. It has to go, along with the rest of you.
And who are you to say such things? I'm familiar with the remnants of pan-human history in Chaldea. But you are no such remnant. None of their history, but another.
Let's not delve into this one too much, okay? I'm not really one to get too personal for a first date.
Jeez, Vathy, you're already at it, huh? You know if you keep messing around like this, you're going to keep giving everyone the wrong impression.
Yeah, like you're really one to talk. Didn't I tell you to go secure the perimeter?
Oh, silly senpai. I had done that the moment we had appeared. Really, if you go any slower, you're going to embarrass yourself even more. At that point, we can't be seen in public together anymore.
I'm not really seeing a downside for that one, honestly. But if it bothers you, please continue.
Enough. State your business at once. Am I to understand that you're an ally of pan-human history in Chaldea?
Maybe.
In a manner of speaking, I might be.
Pardon my tardiness, Your Majesty.
You are forgiven. I trust your heart is at ease?
Yes. Thank you for allowing my selfish request and recovery.
Of course. Now, what will you do?
I wish to fight for our Scandinavia, for the sake of my beloved elder sister Brynhildr, Thrud, Hild, all those who call this place their home, and for you, Your Majesty.
Then prepare for battle. We will protect the tree with all that we have.
Understood, Your Majesty. Oh, they seem pretty serious, Vathy-poo. Are you sure you're up for this? It's not too late to leave and let this all play out. I'm sure those silly little humans can sort this out on their own, right?
You know, as much as I'd love to not to have to work today, pretty sure you already know my answer to that one. Right?
Of course. Oh, I was just making sure that your heart was in it. If it wasn't, I'd be sorely disappointed.
Right now, do you know how many are alive in pan-human history?
Honestly, it depends on which timeline you're asking about. But for this one, a couple billion, give or take.
And are you prepared to shoulder that many lives and the world you claim is under your protection?
Yes, I accept responsibility for each and every one of them.
I see. Then I shall strike with all that I have. For the 10,000 people whom I've granted my love, and for the world that I've inherited as its queen. Prepare yourself!
Try not to humiliate yourself, Vathy-poo.
God damn it, BB.
Hi, all you pitiful pigs in human clothing. Rejoice, for the greatest Kohai has returned. My most sincere apologies for being so late. A certain someone couldn't stop dragging his feet. Honestly, you'd think that being stuck in several life or death situations would instill some sense of urgency. But alas, he is hopeless without guidance. But fear not, for I
am wasting valuable time. Save it for later, BB. Seriously, we have a job to do.
You're such a killjoy. Learn to read the room, Vathy-poo.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, hi. It's been a while, guys. We'll have some time to catch up later, provided you all actually live through this. In case it wasn't already obvious, you're up against Skadi, the ruler of this lost belt, and one of her most loyal Valkyrie, Ortlinde. They are the last obstacle standing between you and that tree. I know that some of you may have some grievances about this, and trust me, I get it. But right now, you need to put that all aside. The fate of your timeline and all of human history is at stake once again, and you should know by now that you don't have the luxury to be indecisive.
As overly melodramatic as that may sound, Senpai's very much correct. Ice Queen and Dime a Dozen over there aren't going to just let you all walk away. So, finish what you started, or die! Honestly, it doesn't make much of a difference to me, but at least try to be entertaining to watch, alright?
Oi, BB.
Fine. I'll help too. Mooncell forbid you let me have any fun, Senpai.
Oh, walk it off. This duo will be waiting for you at the beginning of Chapter 17. You'll have a couple of different options to fight them, but the safest approach is bringing a saber and a rider to deal with their respective weaknesses.
Safe and boring. Something like that shouldn't be too hard to handle for your meager skill levels, right?
Anyways, if you opt for a more risky
Interesting.
approach with more multi-effective servants, then please keep in mind you'll need to account for their weaknesses as well. But hey, if you're all about that life, more power to you. Just don't come crying back to us that it didn't work. Although you'll probably be dead at that point, so...
It wouldn't be our problem anymore. Just try not to do that miserable human thing in wide. You'd be wasting precious oxygen.
In the end, the choice is yours. You can try to rush through this or take it slow depending on how you set your teams up. To each their own. I won't strategy shame you much. Unless you're an idiot.
He's lying to you, by the way. You will be judged harshly and critically. Especially by me.
Oi, can you just shut up and knock it off already?
Oh, scary, scary. Sorry, y'all. He gets cranky when he's tired. Though that's all the time, honestly. In any case, their skills will be as follows. Remember that they may vary due to translations, and if they do, use those little brain of yours to figure it out. Or don't. Ignorance is bliss after all, right? Also, the action order will be dime a dozen, then Ice Queen and dime a dozen again. So be sure to use those eyes of yours and pay attention, humans. Oh, Vathipoo, would you kindly?
Yeah, I was already on it. Listen up. I'm not going to repeat myself, so you better pay attention. Especially those of you who aren't looking at the screen right now. Or don't. But think of it this way. If you don't and you end up dying, then that's billions upon billions of lives that are lost because of you. So, no pressure. At least for me. Snow Blanket of Twilight. Activates at the start of battle and increases NP charge to max. Absolute Zero. It is activated immediately upon the first break bar's destruction and inflicts stun on all enemies for 1 turn. Progressing Snow Boots. It's activated immediately upon the second break bar's destruction and increases NP charge of allies by 1. Primordial Ruin. Increases quick card effectiveness by 50% for 3 turns and increases quick critical strength by 100% for 3 turns. Freezing Blizzard B. Decreases defense of all enemies by 30% for 3 turns, and decreases critical star drop rate of all enemies by 30% for 3 turns. Wisdom of the Greater Gods B+. Increases NP charge by 1. Gate of Sky. It is her AoE Noble Phantasm that increases critical strength of all allies by 50% 3 times for 5 turns. It also applies Evade 1 time for 3 turns, Death Immune 1 time for 3 turns, and Damage Cut 500 for 3 turns.
Tag in! Alright, you pitiful sheep, it's my turn! Better pay attention or be responsible for the deaths of billions upon billions of your terrible kind! Your choice. Aurora Maneuver. Activated immediately upon the break bar's destruction. Increases critical rate by 30%. Permanent. Primordial Rune. Increases quick card effectiveness by 30% for 3 turns and increases NP strength by 20% for 3 turns. Swan Dress A. Applies Evade 1 time for 3 turns, Nullify Debuff 1 time for 3 turns, and Damage Cut 1000 3 times for 3 turns. Weaver of Fate B. Increases NP charge by 1, restores 1000 HP per turn, 3 turns, and increases critical rate by 10% for 3 turns. Ragnarok Lith Rasir. AoE Noble Phantasm that applies Sure Hit for 1 turn, does 1000 damage to all enemies, and has a 50% chance to inflict death. Imagine how embarrassing it'll be if you came all this way just to lose. I mean, for humans, it's just in your nature. But with so much on the line, to lose now would just be such a shame. An absolute, crying, completely humiliating, pathetic shame. Word of advice. Try not to end up like Vathipoo. Okay?
Well done. I suppose this outcome was to be expected for someone who was too weak to be queen. My apologies for such a pitiful display.
Honestly, you shouldn't worry too much. You are up against the greatest devil of the moon, and the eternity's moodiest thundercloud.
BB, would you kindly...
Fine. If you insist, but you really shouldn't be doing this, Vathipoo. It really isn't good for that silly little heart of yours. Oh, and FYI, dime a dozen landed several yards that way. Might even still be conscious. Sure you haven't lost your touch, Senpai?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was too busy doing your job better.
Oh, ha ha. Like you could ever do what I do, stupid senpai.
Finally. Sweet, beautiful silence.
Then, may I ask a question? Are there many like Chaldea in your world?
Oh, that depends on what you mean. If you mean like the people you met earlier, no way. Those guys are all a very unique bunch that have been brought together by some of the most extraordinary of random circumstances. Honestly, I don't really know where I'd even begin with that. But that's pretty much how Chaldea is. Bringing together the best that humanity has to offer. Most of the time.
I see. It sounds like quite the lively place.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
With people like that, I can imagine that world is probably a beautiful place.
It certainly is an interesting place. Although all worlds are kind of like that. Full of people just living their lives the best they can.
Then we're not all too different then.
No, I suppose not. Though, a question for a question.
Oh, yes?
Were you really planning on fighting all of them like that? You barely had any energy left from Searcher, so even if I didn't show up, you still would have, you know.
Was it so obvious?
I'm sorry. I really didn't want to ruin your big moment and all, but...
I'll permit this transgression, just this once.
You're too kind, Queenie.
Perhaps. Either way, I lack the strength to see my duty through. But still, it is by that same duty as the queen that I had to fight to protect this land and all of its people. What other choice did I have?
I definitely understand what you mean, but you did well. Seriously. If you were at full strength, all those Valkyrie by your side, oh man. I don't know if we would have won that one. We must have really lucked out this time around, huh?
Is that so?
Who knows? I might not be thinking straight after that runic beatdown I just got. Next to the magic frostbite and slight hypothermia. At least I hope it's slight hypothermia. Actually, I should be hoping for no hypothermia. That would be amazing, actually.
I take great pride in my skills. I'm second to none, I can assure you that much.
I'll bet. But be proud of everything you've done, though. Okay, Queenie? I know the people of this world couldn't have asked for anyone better than you.
You have my gratitude. But before you go, could you permit me one final selfish request?
Oh, sure. I'll do anything in my power.
Thank you. The name of that fantasy tree that has taken root in this world of mine is Sombrero. In your conquests, please, remember us. Remember this world of infinite ice and fire, and the feelings of the hundreds, thousands, and tens of thousands of us who called it our own.
I promise. Know that the story of this world will be remembered for the rest of time.
You have my eternal gratitude, truly. Now please, go forth and claim your victory.
Thank you. We'll do everything we can.
See that you do.
Huh? What's wrong?
Well, it just occurred to me that we never properly introduced ourselves to one another, did we?
Oh, well, we were a bit preoccupied. Fate of two different timelines, life or death battle, explosions everywhere. Super dramatic. You know what I mean?
Perhaps you're right. Another time, then. Maybe.
Maybe. Until next time. Queenie.
Are you satisfied now? Honestly, at this point, we may have to rewrite the definition of masochism because of you.
Yeah, whatever. They've been calling, right?
Non-stop! Especially Nina. You do know it's rude to keep a girl waiting, right?
Yeah, I know already. She probably has a lot of questions right now. Look, just tell her we're on the way, and let everyone else know that the way forward has been taken care of. I'm going to expand the perimeter a bit before we finish this.
Already taken care of? Really, you'd be completely lost without such a wonderful kohai such as myself by your side. Your eternal praise and expensive bribes are much appreciated and required immediately. Hey! Senpai, don't just walk off when I'm being all amazing! Hey! Whatever, I'll get him back later. As for the rest of you, till next time, humans, try not to fall behind, okay? Curtain's about to fall, and you don't want to miss all that delicious drama, right?